Whenever the grocer puts on a good makeup, I feel like I have to say something because I'm like, they put in effort, whatever. So I'll be like, hey, nice makeup. This woman's makeup did happen to look good. And I said, I like your makeup. She goes, thanks. She goes, I'm so excited for Friday because next week I'm taking off for the election. And we were like, oh, gotcha, like totally understand. She goes, yeah. She was like, I'm going to be hunkered down in my apartment with my guns.
My guns.
And I go, oh yeah, same. Same for me. And she goes, well, if you don't notice my earrings. And she had Trump 2020 earrings on. And I was like, Kelly, shouldn't have complimented the eyeshadow. And she goes, but look at my watch. She had a Trump watch on too. And she said, I swear to God, she goes, I have Trump 2020 on the back of my truck so that I can piss at least one liberal off on the way home. That's the only reason I have it.
They are deranged, but I don't want to pretend like the far end of the spectrum on the other side.
No.
You know, they're all right upstairs, because we're not.
Yeah.
Here's the normal thing. You have your own personality, separate from politics. That should be normal.
Yeah.
That should be the normal, where you don't identify yourself as Queen AOC, pew pew pew, and you're not Trump, like written on all your boxers.
Yeah, she was crazy, but I'm like,
so
if you're
is she? Let me ask you this: she's hunkering down. Now, is she hunkering down in case they win or in case they lose, or is this for both?
She said either way. She was like, either way, it's going to be crazy, and then she said, but the majority will be happy, and then she winked at me.
The does that mean?
I don't know.
She winked at you. Do they think that, the silent majority is going to come through, but the liberals are going to revolt?
I don't know. I have no clue what they're prepping for, but I have been watching a few videos on people who are like in militias, who are like all hyped and ready.
We talked about that. The pretend army men, you know, it's Halloween every day. They're throwing on their camo.
There was this guy that literally on the news, he goes, you know, no matter what happens, people are going to be killed, for sure. And I'm like,
Jesus Christ.
You can't just say that.
But you know what's, they say that, but there's like a little glint in their eyes. Like they want that to happen. This is what they want.
I know, they like.
You don't sign up for a militia and hope it never needs to happen.
So honestly, I think this woman is fantastic, the bitch that I'm about to talk about. So this woman, she faked...
The bitch that I'm about to talk about. Love her.
So she was arrested because she was stalking somebody and did drugs and all that kind of stuff. First of all, women stalkers are so bizarre to me. Like, I don't understand, like... there must be something severely wrong with you if you're a woman who needs to stalk, because men will just like really touch anything. So like, no offense, Max. So if you're like, as a woman, you're
I'm not a man, but continue.
Yeah. As a woman, if you're like not getting any, that's your own fault. That's your own fault for sure. So she got arrested for this, and then she faked being a prosecutor on her own case, went into like the database and dropped the charges, and then the forensic guy was like, I thought we were supposed to have a scheduled thing today. What happened? And then he checked the thing and the charges were dropped, and he called somebody else who was like, hey, did you drop these charges? And they were like, huh? You know, like freaking out because they were like, I have no idea. But of course they figured it out and the woman got arrested again. But I say, great attempt.
So are you, like, kudos. Are you saying she put on a little disguise and infiltrated the courthouse or whatever and was able to hack the mainframe?
So she went online, like, maybe, like, took a pic, being like, prosecutor, and...
That's how they do it.
With, like, a gavel or something, and was just like,
Lady Justice.
Yeah, and so she signed up, but I think there are going to end up being a lot more holes in our system coming up because everything is online right now. Like, data security is like one of the highest like markets at the moment because everybody's putting everything they have on their computers and devices. If a woman told you that story on the date, would you still sleep with her?
If she so said it was her that did that?
Yeah.
What was the original crime? Stalking?
Yeah.
Nah. If it was a cool crime, yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so a police officer in the Philippines was killed by a cockfighting rooster's blade while breaking up a match. I mean, come on. That's cool. I mean, again, this is not this is not a silly news.
No.
I know it's in the silly news category. It's not silly, it's tragic, but hilarious. But I just would like to reiterate, cockfighting, first of all, illegal in the United States. You have to have a licensed cockpit. But anyway, they did shut these licensed cockpits down due to COVID-19, so the police were raiding this place. The cop was literally trying to step between two roosters and be like, hey, come on, you two, you've had enough. And then one of the roosters slashed this guy's femoral artery, the big artery in your leg that's a kill shot if you even nick it, with the tiny knife that's attached to his leg. Did you know, by the way, that they have tiny knives? The roosters?
Yeah, well, a human puts the knife on the rooster. The rooster's not like...
No, it's not. The roosters, they're sharper
No
before
way,
the
they
match.
don't go to like a pawn shop and they're like, what do you got? I need a new one for the fight this week.
You see the roosters flipping it on the side? Here we go. You know?
They were like, yeah, you know what? We are going to shut it down. Not because this is totally animal cruelty, but because of the virus.
Yeah, but seriously, that's fantastic. And even the police, like the captain or whatever, this guy's boss was like, tell you what, never seen something like this before. I mean, real. It's an accident. He goes, it's an accident.
Yeah.
He was like, this is normal. We go in, we stop the fights because they're not allowed right now.
Yeah.
But who could have seen that coming? He goes, tragic accident. Instead of being like, this inhumane cockfighting where you attach knives to the rooster's foot so they can kill each other.
Yeah.
Who could have seen that coming, by the way?
Thousands
that
upon thousands.
Roosters with knives would be dangerous.
Thousands upon thousands of roosters have died, but the odds that it would happen to a human was just so slim. So we just said, there's no way.
Coming? You gotta figure, though, I'd like to see a little bit. There's a backstory there. This cop did something to this rooster's family that's... You know what I mean? Because that's a kill shot. These roosters, they're killers.
Yeah.
They're killers.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. You don't think he knows where the femoral is? You think he's hitting that with one shot? No, he knows exactly. He's fucking like this. Mm-hmm. And then he just looked out. Oh, whoa, an accident.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was going after the other rooster and I actually hit you.
I'll see you in hell.
I can't even imagine, though.
He takes his own life after.
I'll see you there. Lifts up talon, slices.
But is it the worst? We're bringing it back. We're bringing back, but is it the worst? I did a little light research, but I kept it. This is airing Monday, the day before the election. God rest your souls. And I did it all October 29th. I picked the day at random. It's also the day that we're filming. Anyway, first day that I'll choose in history, October 29th, 1929, was the day that the stock market crashed that kicked off the worldwide Great Depression.
That's a bummer.
So, it's a real bummer.
I'll be the first to say it. Depression affects all of us.
Right. Who does depression hurt? Everyone.
Yeah, and...
Where does depression hurt? Remember those commercials?
Yeah. Yeah, even though this is totally different type of depression. But just so you know, we are mentally health aware. Mental health awareness?
I mean, we're both clinically insane.
Okay. The next day in history, Lindy Chamberlain... I didn't write this. The Australian... If I would have picked these, I would have never picked this one just based on the name. Okay. The Australian woman who famously used the dingo ate my baby defense was found guilty after people thought about it for more than a minute.
Way to read that line with gumption. Let me tell you. This is why we don't script this program.
For more than a minute.
Joke. Pause for
joke.
laughter.
End quote.
But you know that, the dingo ate my baby thing, right?
Yeah.
Dingo ate my baby,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Well, that's, these Australians, what do you do with them, What do you do with them? They should just play volleyball.
Is that a thing? And then finally, October 29th, 1971, you know her, you love her, Winona Ryder was born, which, actually a surprise twist for this segment, it makes any week during which this date falls in a complete and total win. So there is no worst week in which October 29th exists. So great
You're
time.
saying
Happy
this
birthday,
in a
Winona.
way of that you like Winona Ryder, though.
I'm sorry, are you saying that you dislike Winona?
No, she's great. But,
Oh, I mean, come on. Wait, hold on. Favorite Winona roll on three.
One, two, three. Edward
Mr.
Scissorhands.
Deeds.
What did you say?
Mr. Deeds.
I forgot that's her. I watched that in quarantine, and it's
Oh. Tell you something,
great.
holds up.
It's a good movie.
Holds up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of
think
Adam
Buscemi
Sandler
won-
in quarantine.
Buscemi won the Oscar for that, right? Supporting?
I love Steve Buscemi. We watched, what did we watch? We watched The Wedding Singer.
About taking an L, Drew with that Drew Barrymore talk show. Did you see any clips of it?
Oh wait, sorry though. Was that week better or worse? I'm gonna say that it was better than this week.
No, I mean, this was, first of all, I only did days, considering the October month, but I confirmed that any week that has October 29th in it, there is no worst week because it's Winona Ryder's birthday this week. What did I just say? What did I just say? There's science behind that. There's a scientific...
Don't be mad at me.
Costco drops, I don't know how to pronounce this, Chauca coconut milk over allegations of forced monkey labor, PETA says. Pretty serious allegation from PETA. And if you were delighted by this. Okay, so if you read the article, they are basically, this company is locking up monkeys in cages, and they're forcing these monkeys to harvest the coconuts. So they're just giving them these coconuts all day, no breaks. They don't have any breaks. I don't even pay them. And these little monkeys are I guess cracking open the coconuts for the little milk inside, which is horrible because the monkeys are very cute. Monkeys are cute. They're
Are
one
you
step away from
kidding
us.
me? That sounds awesome.
They're working.
What? Yeah, who cares? Think about it. Think about a little monkey in a
first
little
of all-
construction suit in the little hat, and he's like,
Oh God, yeah. They go, one of the monkey turns to his buddy, goes, Mondays. Well,
maybe it's better in cartoon form than real life.
yeah, I think you only think in cartoons, which makes a lot of things better than they are.
That is true.
The fact that PETA is making it a thing, it kind of dampens it for me because they are an insufferable organization.
They're so
because
annoying.
They are insufferable. They're like, you think a milk wants you, you think a cow wants you to touch its teats and take its milk, and it's like, yes, that's actually that's their whole thing.
I do think that
that's exactly their whole thing. Yeah, but also, I will say, what upsets me about PETA and the people that are way in between is they're like, burn Kim Kardashian, she wore a fur coat. But they don't give a about human forced labor. You know what I mean? These monkeys, they're ready to go down. They're ready to go down to the Philippines, or where's this? PETA wants to go down to Thailand, and they want to ritualistically cut these people's throats. But they don't give a about people. Like, imagine of all the causes that you can get really hard behind and be real moral about it, and it's animals only, and you stay mum about everything else. If you're I believe if you are like that hard up for animal rights, it should be equal to your human rights fights. If you're going to make that your thing, if you want to say animals are equal to humans, then fight across the board.
Yeah. Well, PETA's whole bullshit is they're like, we give a voice to the voiceless type of stuff. And it's like, a dog isn't voiceless. You just don't speak its language. Authorities found 37 pounds of meth in a tire in the back of a truck. So this happened in Mississippi where, meth thrives.
Grows on trees.
Yeah, and honestly, the people there are already missing teeth. Like, do we need to do meth on top of it? Like, you're gonna run out. The amount, 37 pounds of meth. I just want you to understand how much money this is. It's $350,000 worth of meth, and the way that they found him was he was just driving pretty sloppily. Like, they didn't even have anything on this guy. They just saw him kind of like swerving a bit. Maybe he was distracted by the radio or something. I'm assuming everyone in Mississippi does the radio.
Was he? Jesus, not even FM. They do AM.
AM?
What's the situation here though? Was he methed up, and then they were like, "What's going on in that giant?" Because how big's the tire that there's 37 pounds of meth in it?
It was just a spare tire for the truck.
A spare 40-foot tire?
Yeah, full of meth.
And when you say it's a tire filled with meth, tires have holes in it. So what do they just peek over the truck and see a pile of meth?
No. You fill the actual tire.
With the meth?
Yes, so you like cut into the tire, and then you put that way when the officers open the hood, they're like, oh, it's just a spare tire. But of course they didn't fall for that, probably because there was like a cut in the side, or like maybe some meth fell out on the down, or maybe it said on the spare, meth tire, don't use.
Don't use, not spare.
Not real spare. Can you imagine even trying to sell that? Be like, oh, I have some meth if you want it. Be like, yeah, where is it? Be like, it's in my tire? Like, what?
Yeah, can you just give me a second? I also really like to picture this guy being like, he gets caught, like they find the tire, and he's like, hey, spare me, you know? And then three of them have a laugh.
I wonder if they ever get a good laugh in. So, what we're doing right now is election predictions.
We're going to predict the election. We've done it.
Yes.
First of all, we predicted every election for the last 40 years. We've never been wrong. So,
I do know this. My prediction is that I will be drinking a lot, eating a lot, and trying to suppress my emotions. That's what will be happening.
I predict that we will get some fun memes out of this, and that it will finally be what puts our show on the map. So...
Yeah.
The further this world devolves into chaos, the better for What a Week News. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.